I'm pretty excited about my January TBR because we get to read booktuber favorites in January. I'm going to be watching a whole lot of booktuber videos and I have a whole list compiled. I've already watched 25 best of the year list and I'm planning on reading the most talked about, which does make planning this TBR a little bit hard because they're not all out yet, but I have some predictions and so that's what I'm going to aim for in today's TBR game. If you don't know, every month I play Snakes and TBR stacks to help me pick my reads. It's based on Snakes and Ladders and essentially I roll the die, I land on a prompt, and I have to read a book that matches that prompt. If I land on a snake, I have to add another roll and I go down. And if I land on a ladder, it's kind of a reward prompt, which is always nice. I'm always wanting those ladders. I did not complete last month's TBR in time, which means I have to do 6 rolls instead of 5. And so let's hope the board is in my favor because I got a lot of reading to do this month and I'm hoping for some good prompts to come up. We apparently have a Miley helper today. Sure, you gotta go. Last time we ended on last year release, so we're starting there for roll 1. Nine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Fantasy. Roll 1, we landed on fantasy. We're starting off nice and easy. I feel like this could be the board jinxing me, but fantasy's pretty simple. It's pretty much all I read. And for booktuber favorites, I am doing romantasy, so fantasy, romance, and fantasies in the name. They are all fantastical. And actually, the one I'm putting on here is not a booktuber favorite because I'm actually going to be reading Onyx Storm this month and I need to get that on my TBR. When Iron Flame came out, I read it really quickly, pretty much release day. I pretty much block off that day to read. And I did a spoiler-filled video that I had so much fun doing where I just literally talked to the camera about every unhinged thought I had while reading Iron Flame. I'll leave that video linked down below if you want to watch it. And I had so much fun when people watched it back after they had read the book and like got to experience the book again with me. I'm not necessarily theorizing, I'm just literally vomiting words out about the book and I'm planning on doing that again for Onyx Storm. I like to get that video up pretty early so as people start to finish the book, they can come watch my video and re-experience the book. So I'm very excited about this one. This is the 3rd book in the Fourth Wing series. I literally fell in love with Fourth Wing. I stayed up all night reading it. I was obsessed with it. That was one of the books that kickstarted my romantasy journey and look at me now. I'm like pretty much romantasy all the time. It's like the only thing I think about. I eat, sleep, drink, read romantasy. So very excited for this 3rd installment. I'm hoping it's a 5-star. I'm hoping we all love it. It's also technically mine and Mel's book club pick for February, not January, just because it comes out so late in January. We figured a lot of people would want February to read it. So I'm very excited to be reading that over on Patreon with Mel's Patreon as well. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll number 2, we landed on human, and I'm throwing a bit of a curveball into my romantasy plans because as I've been watching all of the best of the year list, as I've been writing down everyone who has romantasy on their list, writing down all of their favorites, there is a non-romantasy book that keeps coming up. And so in my head, if all of the people that I have similar taste in with romantasy are reading this and loving this book that's not romantasy, I probably should try it because I'll probably will read and love it as well. So with that being said, I'm planning on entering my contemporary romance era next year. And I'm planning on picking up Wild Love in my booktuber favorites video. This has been on so many people's lists. Like it is probably one of the most talked about ones that I've seen that I haven't read. And I'm very excited. This is, I want to say, a billionaire romance. Forbes may have labeled Ford Grant the world's hottest billionaire, but all he cares about is escaping the press and opening a recording studio in gorgeous small town Rose Hill. Something comes to a screeching halt when he ends up face to face with a young girl who claims he's her biological father. Now he spends his day balancing business with parenting a sullen 12-year-old, all while trying desperately to keep his hands the hell off his best friend's sister, Rosie Belmont. I'm not sure I like the single dad trope, but I think maybe because the girl's older, I could like it. And I honestly haven't read any single dads really to know if I don't like that. So I'm just judging a trope by its name, really. So I'm excited to try this. I'm hoping I love it. Everyone loves Elsie Silver. I have so much to try from her, and so this will probably be my first one. And I'm very excited to hopefully be one with you all and love this, and you'll see it on my best year next year. Roll 3. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 ebook in a snake. Zoom. A snake? We landed on an ebook, but we also landed on a snake. Of course. Ebook is at least somewhat easy, although I actually owned most of the books that I think I'm planning on reading. But there's one book that keeps coming up that I wasn't sure if I wanted to read, but also I want to give it a try. So like this is like the best time to do it, which is Phantasma. So I will be reading this one on Kindle Unlimited. This follows a deadly competition of some sort, a deadly trial. There's like a maze, I think, and I think there's a phantom. I just know that people are saying that if you simped for Danny Phantom, you're probably gonna simp for this MC2. And like Danny Phantom is fine. This has been all over TikTok. I'm really expecting a lot of booktubers to have it on their favorites list. I think it got really good reviews. I've seen it come up a few times already, so hopefully I will get to this one. Something about entering a house with a bunch of monsters to find her sister, but the most deadly thing in the maze could be falling in love. Roll 4. 2. 1, 2. Animal on cover. Okay, and after that we landed on Animal. This one I'm putting on City of Gods and Monsters. There is a little animal right here on the cover. When a devil is hunting you, there is nowhere you can hide. I've been really in a urban fantasy mood. I'm hoping I like this more since I haven't read Crescent City yet, and a lot of people do complain that it's very similar to Crescent City. It is chunkier than I expected, and this is also mine and Mel's book club pick on Patreon for January, so we are reading this with our patrons. I'm hoping to get to it pretty early in the month. I'm hoping it can maybe be one of my first reads because I'm really excited for it. I've seen a lot of hype going around about it. Lauren Kella has only ever been ordinary. As a human struggling to survive in a city that caters to the needs of vampires, werewolves, witches, and other supernatural creatures, she always assumed her life would remain simple, predictable, and as safe as her world would allow. Until she barely escapes abduction at the hands of Dark Slayers, supernatural bounty hunters that possess the Sight, a magical tracking ability that allows them to see a person's aura, and one of her friends is taken in her place. The abductors are demanding a ransom, Lauren's life in exchange for her friend's safe return, and Lauren will do whatever it takes to get her friends back, even if it means accepting help from Darien Castle, the leader of the Seven Devils, the most feared dark-slaying circle in the city. I have heard that Darien Castle is like Bae, like he is the book boyfriend to end all book boyfriends, and I need to know if I'm going to agree with that, because listen, I have some top-tier book boyfriends, so he's got shoes to fill. I'm hoping that we all love this one quite a bit. I've seen it on quite a few of, specifically TikTokers really talk about this one. I'm hoping that it makes its rounds on BookTube a little bit more in the new year, especially if I love it. But it has been on quite a few BookTuber favorites so far, so I'm really predicting it. But I have to read it regardless since it is our book club pick, and I'm excited to hear what all of our patrons think. I love when we can scream and shout about a book, so I'm really hoping that we all love this one. Roll 5. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Creature. And then we landed on Creature, which is just about the main character being some sort of non-human entity. It could be fae, it could be vampires, it could be anything like that. It doesn't have to be the main character, it just has to be like prominent characters or like a prominent theme of the book. It could be like vampire hunters, things like that. For this one, I'm going with Reign of Shadow and Endings by Melissa K. Roick. I've been saving this book for BookTuber Favorites Month. I thought about reading about 2 months ago and I was like, no, this is going to be on so many best of the year list and I need something to read because I do read a lot of the popular romantasy. Trust me, Quicksilver and Kindred's Curse are on so many people's lists. They are the most popular romantases, but I loved them too and they're gonna be on my list. This was one that I really thought about and I was like, maybe I should save it, and I'm very, very looking forward to get to this. I didn't love Lady of Darkness by the same author, but I've heard this one is darker. It feels longer. I feel like it's going to be more complex in the world building. I'm really, really hoping I enjoy this one. There's a content warning page. I don't really know what this follows. I think it's something about the legacies needing a person to drink their blood, and the legacies are like the children of the gods, but they didn't want the legacies to become too powerful, so they now have their own like little island, and the fae are required to provide for the legacies. Every 5 years, the eligible fae are gathered for the selection assigned to serve in one of the 6 kingdoms. To be chosen as the personal source, so blood, they drink their blood, for a kingdom heir is the greatest honor, and for the first time in millennia, all 6 kingdoms have heirs choosing a source. And our main character ends up going to the most ruthless kingdom, and so we have to see all that. I hear it's like pretty dark enemies to lovers. I'm pretty excited about this one. I hope I love it. Also really like this cover, and I like the way the spine looks on my shelves as well. Roll 6. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we landed on last year, and this was a hard prompt for me because I kept seeing releases from 2 years prior. So I am going with A Touch of Gold and Madness. This one I'm not sure will actually end up making it into the video, but I do want to try this book again, so like hopefully I can still prioritize it in January. It's on, I want to say 3 people's lists currently, but I'm not sure I see it going on many more where there's books that I think could surpass this one. I actually did try this book. I DNF'd it 5 pages in, but I also tried reading it right after binging the entire Bonded by Thorns series, and if you know me, you know that I loved that series. So I think it was probably wrong timing for the book, and I just didn't give it enough of a chance because I wanted to feel the way I felt about that last Bonded by Thorns book, and I just like obviously like didn't in 5 pages. It's really dumb. And I didn't like love the writing style, but I didn't give it enough chance to like warm up to it. So I do want to try it again, especially after I made Mel read it in December for her Booktuber Advent calendar. I'll leave the video where Mel read it down below, and she enjoyed it. It wasn't a new favorite, but I definitely think that I could enjoy this one as well, so I want to give it another try. So we're going to be reading it. This is like a dystopian fantasy romance. I've heard that it's really good. The world building is good. People love the like scenes of the two together. It's definitely more fantasy than romantasy, but there is romance at its core as well, but like there's more scenes about like the plot and stuff than the actual romance. And I've heard that the romance scenes are really good. The spicy scenes are good. There's a really good knife to the throat scene. That is what Mel said, and I'm just overall intrigued to try this one again, and hopefully with the audiobook, because the audiobook was not out when I tried it, I will enjoy it and give it a better chance and end up really loving it. This is one that I'm very excited about to try in the new year. I hope it gets on to Booktuber favorites, but I'm not 100% sure it will. That's the problem with doing this like this, is I really need to wait for more videos to come out because I want to watch a decent amount to make my full list. Hopefully our last roll. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we landed on yellow orange cover, and I hate this prompt. Why did I put this prompt on my board? I have given a good amount of yellow orange covers really high ratings, so I think that's why it like gravitated towards me. But I don't own a lot of yellow orange covers. You can see them right here sitting on my shelf looking pretty. That's probably the extent of what I own. A couple horror thrillers. So I am stretching this one just a little bit, but I think it counts. You can judge me in the comments if you would like. But I'm going with Zodiac Academy. It's a lot of gold on it, and I feel like gold is essentially yellow, and I don't have like a gold silver foiled prompt, so I feel like it counts enough for me. Like this is all like really yellow in my opinion. The back too, so I'm counting this as a yellow cover. I've seen Zodiac Academy, not necessarily the first book, but most people talk about the whole series. I feel like a lot of people binge the entire series in 1 year. Like when you start loving Zodiac Academy, it's just like I need to complete them. And so a lot of people have just been talking about the series as a whole. So I'm putting the first book on my Booktuber favorites list. I've seen it come up a decent amount, and I'm really excited to start my journey of Zodiac Academy next year. I've also technically DNF'd this one before. Pretty early in. I think the girls had just gotten to the school. I think she was pushed off a ledge. Someone was pushed off a ledge. This was back when I wasn't really a romantasy reader. I'd only dabbled in a few, like A Court of Thorns and Roses and From Blood and Ash. I remember the writing really sticking out to me in this and like not loving it, and I was feeling really big burnout from Booktuber favorites, to be honest. I read it for Becca's Booktube bestie back in the day. I'll leave that video link down below if you'd like to see it. And I think that my reading taste has really changed since then, and I can appreciate, for lack of better words, cringy writing. Honestly, I can have a lot of fun with it. I have read From the Twisted Sisters and really liked them. I read Dark Fae, which is the prequel series to this, and I really enjoyed it. I laughed at some of the lines, but like I had a fun time, and that's really what I'm looking for these days in my reading. I don't need every book to be like this really big thought-provoking. I have to sit there and reread lines because the lines are so beautiful and well written, and you know, sometimes I just want to read straight to the point. I did this, and I'm okay with that these days. So I'm really excited to try this one again, and I hope I love it because I'm hoping to marathon all of them and have a really good time. I hope that my stretch feels valid to all of you. I think it does. I think this is close enough. This follows 2 sisters who find out that they are heirs to the whole of Solaria, but the thing is, when they went missing to the human world, they trained a bunch of the leaders in the other families to end up ruling the world, and they're all men, they're all boys, and they do not want these 2 sisters to come take control because they've been training for it their whole life, and so that they're trying to bully them out of Solaria. However, these 2 sisters just want their inheritance. They want to go back to the human world. They don't want to rule. So So they are trying to just like make it to the point where they can get owed the money from their family or whatever. But these boys are making their life a living hell because they think that they're gonna want the power. Listen, only men want power. Women are smarter than that. We understand. We can pull strings from the back. Let me know down below what you're planning on reading in the new year, and also let me know if you enjoy watching booktuber favorite vlogs. They're some of my favorite to watch, so I definitely won't stop doing them even if people don't like them. But I just find them very like engaging. I like to watch people find new favorites because other people found favorites and things like that, and I just think it's very like wholesome almost. Even when they hate the book, I don't know. I like to see how subjective taste is and how we can love books and hate books, and I just really overall like them, and I always find new channels through someone I love and watch doing a booktuber favorites vlog, and there's someone I've never seen in it before. I'm definitely excited for this time of the year. It's some of my favorite like end of the year content, and then booktuber favorite vlogs. Incredible, amazing. If you made it all the way to the end of this video and you just like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a bumblebee emoji and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.